Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tradie Business School Podcast. Thank you for tuning in to this epic episode. It is our 100th episode, and I'm excited to do today's recording because we've got the whole team on board. Team, go wild, go crazy. Yeah. Say happy birthday. Yeah. Really important episode for us as a team, but also we want to take the opportunity to highlight the importance of stopping, smelling the roses, and sharing our wins within the organisation and with everybody else. So we got the whole team on. Hopefully you can check out the video recording because we've all got funky backgrounds and hats and bits and pieces. So check that out if you get the chance. But I'm going to just randomly jump around our party today, and I'm going to interview our team and ask them about their favourite wins over the 100 episodes that we've had in that time. Now, the wins can be really personal. They can be in business. They can be as a team. So there's no jurisdiction here where it has to be, but I really love sharing the wins with our team and with our clients as well. So I'm gonna jump straight into it with our head coach, Miranda. She has been involved in probably, I don't know, maybe 1,000 of the 100 episodes you've been involved in, Miranda. So I'm going to jump to you first, and I would love to get your take on why celebrating wins are important and a little bit of a backstory about the journey, because you've been here from the early days and really are a veteran of the podcast. So over to you.
Thanks, Adam. Super exciting. And for all of you listening, It's really exciting. It's a big milestone for us. The first thing that I want to say, though, is thank you. And for those of you watching the video, you can see the thank you up behind me. Thank you, because this 100th episode wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be recording this today without the listeners. We do this for you. And certainly I've been doing this for 2 years now. Pretty much every episode I've been on, barring a couple, guiding this and always connecting in with all of you listening wherever you're driving today, thinking about what is it that would bring you value, because it is through that and connecting in that we and I celebrate our wins. Some of the wins, the importance of celebrating wins, certainly we do it every week in our programs. One of the things we do in our group coaching every week, and Bryan, one of our fabulous coaches, can attest to this, is we ask for wins and lessons every week. The reason we ask this is, there are many reasons, but one of the key reasons is it helps us to cement the neurology around success. So when we tap into and think about something that we want to acknowledge ourselves for, or it's a win or a success, we feel good, right? And I think every one of you can think about feeling good. And so when we tap into feeling good and acknowledging ourselves and stopping for a moment, there's a couple of things that happen. One is that we generate an emotional feeling around feeling good, and it cements that. So therefore our neurology wants to seek more of it. The second thing it does is it helps, I guess, alleviate against one of the problems that often us entrepreneurs and business owners have, and that is that we've got to keep going, we've got to get there, we've got to keep moving, we've got to get towards our goals, and we often don't pause for a moment and acknowledge progress. And it is through that pausing and acknowledging progress that helps us, in fact, to get the motivation to keep going. So super important. We do it every week in our program, but that's why that's the wins. Then I think the greatest win for me is being here to help record this 100th episode and very much connecting in with the wins that all of you listeners have achieved this year. I've got a list of a few things that I know that you've all been through this year, and you've all navigated floods, you've got hiring issues that you've faced, you've been in pandemic recovery. You've had constant staff illnesses and having to jump back on the tools. There's so many things that you've faced this year, and you're still here and you're still doing it. So you're all amazing. There we go. Just think for a moment about the wins that you've achieved this year. I think it's fabulous. So there we go. Trust that answers the question, Adam.
Yeah, definitely. No, beautifully said, Miranda. And you really have been a pillar of the podcast. So I want to take the opportunity to publicly acknowledge that and thank you because also without the listeners, you're right, but also without you, a lot of those podcasts wouldn't have existed. So well done, because it's an epic achievement personally as well, committing to something and doing it day in, day out, week in, week out, for any amount of time. But 2 years is pretty cool. And you get, if you're into cricket or any sport where numbers are a thing, making the ton, like you get to raise the bat now and celebrate and cheer on the clients as you always do. So amazing effort. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now I'm going to jump to one of our team, one of our amazing people that are in the background. He's a funky dude. If you check out his picture, he's got his 3D glasses on, and I'm sure he's at a rave in the background there. But Kim is our IT helper, guru, office Jedi, does a lot of things behind the scenes. None of you probably know he exists, but you've all been impacted by him in some way, I'm sure. So Kim, welcome to the stage today. Welcome to the podcast. How's things?
Hey, welcome. It's cool. Very cool. I like
you are cool. You look very cool today.
Thank you. I like my 3D glasses. So
awesome. So, mate, you've gone through some really some epic changes within the business, and you're in the back end working through things. What stands out as one of the big wins for you in the last 2 years of the podcast?
One of the big wins that I have, actually, I've learned a lot from the business. I'm not, being the person in the back, I have the ability to actually see everyone or see everything that's happening. So I take my time actually listening to clients, to coaches, things that they teach, things that they actually do. And I try to apply some of them. And what I love most of, one of the wins that I have is actually my mindset. For the last 2 years, I've always had this mindset of unlocking my potential, limiting myself to what I can do, because I think that's only what I can do. But with TGC or the Game Changers, since it slowly shifted the way I think from the me 2 years ago to the me that I am right now. So right now I'm like, I always think back and see, like, I've never thought that I'm going to have that kind of thinking ever since. And it only takes a matter of listening and, reflecting, and everyone here, not just the coaches and the people I work with, but also with the clients. So every time that they share something, I try to look at it and see how I could actually apply it. And that worked greatly for me. And I try to apply it as well in the company, because, different, it gives me different things to look at and different perceptions to actually look at things with.
Right, that's some epic wins. And some of that stuff I didn't even know about, like just the personal growth within yourself. Like, and this is really important with business owners. Like, we don't often realize the inadvertent impact that we're going to have on the world around us, and even if we had not served any clients in the last 2 years, just that growth that you've gone through makes it all worthwhile. So that's a really beautiful share, and I really appreciate you being part of the team, being on the podcast today. It's great to see you and have you here. So thanks, mate, and keep partying out the back there. Yeah, round of applause for him and his win. So amazing. I'm going to jump to one of the cool cats of the team now. She's got a Minions background, but she's certainly not one of the Minions. Definitely a standout. One of the customer care team. A real workhorse in the background. Keeps our clients loved up. Having her part of the team and take on that client care role has been a real win for the business. So come on down, Jane. How's things, you cool cat?
Everything's well, Adam. Thank you so much for that cool intro.
Well, you've got these cool glasses on. I felt that it was fitting. You just always this cool cat just cruises around. Like I've tried to fluster you, but I just don't think it's possible. Like we've thrown some stuff at you, and you're just like, yeah, no worries, I've got this. So tell me, like you've been around like with the Game Changers, and you've seen a lot of the podcasts, throughout the years. What's it been like being a part of it? Or being around in the background and seeing the podcast roll out the way it has.
Just like Kim have mentioned, it changes. Like it helps me change my mindset as well. Like working on your inner game. And me, especially working with closely with the coaches, like, the coaching sessions are not only applicable. I mean, it's not only like helpful if you have a business, but also like in your personal life. Me personally, I've created my own vision, like what's my mission, and the ideal people that I want to work with, or even my ideal friends, like those kind of stuff. Like it was really helpful, like me growing as a person, like my personal value. I feel like I've known myself better, like I've built my personal values, like for those people that I want to cut off from my life. So those kind of stuff, like and they're really helpful. So yeah, that's I guess my biggest win. And another thing as well is, I started as an appointment setter in the Game Changers, and my role has been constantly changing. And I'm just so grateful because TGC obviously saw my potential, and they've put me in, in roles that they thought that, I could really grow as a virtual assistant and as a person as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you're right. Like I think the potential in you has been unearthed through you doing the work on yourself and creating those healthy boundaries around who you do and don't want in your life. And also, like doing your own personal vision and mission and creating that sort of focus in your life. Like it's so heartwarming to hear, right? Because this is what we teach business owners to do with the business. But the important thing to take out of this, with what Kim said and what you said, Jane, is, the impact that we also have internally with our own team and our own people. Like you can change lives just there. And it sounds like we've done that, which is just so beautiful. And I'm grateful that this business has been able to help you with that. So that's amazing. Amazing. So very cool. Very, very cool. I'm going to jump to another cool cat. She's a cross between a Minnie Mouse and and a crazy workhorse in the background. She's probably the reason I'm still, I say sane loosely, but Lou has been a part of the business for a few months now, and has worked closely with me on many, many projects now. So she's seen my craziness at its best and its worst. But Louise Ledbrook, come on down, talk to us about your time. Short, but it's had it's been fire the whole time. We've been moving pretty quick, not as quick as we would like, but this is a really good opportunity to, I guess, sit back and reflect on the transition and the wins from those, and the whole business altogether.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Hi, everyone. So, look, I think this is a great time of year as well to reflect on wins and, as Miranda mentioned and you've mentioned as well, as business owners, we often just keep moving full steam ahead and we don't stop to celebrate any win sometimes, and a win doesn't have to be big. Although, like Adam, the changes in the game changes have been pretty big, like, the transition of ownership and the change of leadership obviously is a huge transition, and things obviously didn't go to plan, and some things went to plan, and that's always the way it goes. And so making it through, and, the fact that things are still running great and the team is amazing and they've really supported the whole transition, that's a huge win. Like for me, being part of now, having the pleasure of being part of this team, having met these wonderful people, like obviously I'm a bit in the background. I don't have as much sort of interaction with clients in this instance, but this is a fantastic team and that is a win. Like you having these people every day making this company as amazing as it is, that's a big win. But I think one thing, if you don't mind me sharing, Adam, one of the things that Adam and I have been doing, because things have been so crazy, is every day we're sharing with each other gratitude. And sometimes they're wins and sometimes they're just the sun came out, and so we're making sure that we are looking at the wins every day. And, as business owners, a win could be you got the invoices out that you haven't been doing for weeks. You finally got to those quotes sitting in your inbox, or you spent a couple of hours working strategically on the business, not in the business. Those things are wins, and you need to stop and go, that was a good day. I got that thing done that I needed to get done, and that is a win. It doesn't have to be this epic big thing that is a win. It can be just making it through each day, especially at this time of year. We're all working full steam ahead. We're trying to make it to the Christmas shutdown. But every day, if you just stop and go, I did this thing today, I worked with an apprentice, they learn a new thing. I worked with my team, they had a great day on site. Things went great. I resolved an issue for the team. All of those things are wins. And we should be looking at all of those on a daily basis, not just thinking about the big things as wins. It's sometimes just those small things, and we need to stop and acknowledge those. And for me, a big win is I get to be part of this epic 100th episode. Yes, I've only been around for a couple of months now, and thank you to everyone here today. They've obviously brought this episode to life. It wasn't me. It was all you guys over the last 100 episodes bringing it to life. So thank you to all of you. As Miranda said, thank you to the listeners, because there wouldn't be a podcast without you as well. And I'm just grateful to be part of it. And it's pretty exciting.
Oh, amazing. That's very beautiful. Oh, yes. Little round of applause there.
Thank you, everyone.
I love the two extremes that you've gone to, the big wins, transition, that sort of thing. But I think those big wins are often made possible by the little wins. And I think we probably don't give them enough weight. And like you said, we've created this practice of just sharing some gratitude. And I think that's something, if you were to take nothing else out of this podcast is, celebrate your little wins. And gratitude's a great place to start, because those little nuances, those little micro increments, they're the ones that stack up to be this massive win over time. But we have these unrelenting standards as high achievers and business owners to, that it's never good enough. Like every time we have a win, we often move the goalpost. And it's like, I did a thing in the time that I elected to do it, but I could have done it quicker maybe, and it's robbing yourself of that win. So if you're robbing yourself of wins, stop it, stop and smell the roses, pat yourself on the back, and, really take the time to understand that winning is, a micro job as well as a big job. So
yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for your share, Lou. Thank you for being part of the team. That's been amazing.
Thank you.
I'm going to jump to one of probably our quietest little mouse now. That's not Miranda. And I'm going to go to one of our other client care superstars. She may be small, She may have a tiny voice, but she's definitely mighty. Come on down, Justine. She's dressed as a puppy dog today. She's been very quiet, but she is such a beautiful human, and we're grateful to have you as part of our team. You've certainly, you've been thrown into the fire. We've got you running around like a headless chook, and you're another cool cat. Nothing phases you. Every day having you as part of the team's a little win, but I'd love to hear from you. The time that you've been in TGC, what are the wins that you've experienced or seen? Over to you, our favorite little puppy dog.
As I was saying like earlier, I said that I'll be TGC's mascot for today. But hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone who's listening. So thank you, Adam, for such kind words. For my win, I think I'm gonna add up to or kind of resonate to what Miranda said earlier. I think a lot of things happened the past few years, and I feel like a lot of people are still experiencing the fallout of that today. So for me, being that I spend most of my days dealing with money matters like fees, payment, and stuff, I'm pretty exposed to scenarios of clients struggling with financial concerns. But despite that, they get up and show up. Like they lean into their pod members, they seek help from the community, they ask for suggestions and just things that would help them get out of the slump that they're currently in. And it's inspiring to see people sticking to their commitment to the program despite having to circumvent hurdles with such crucial aspect of building and owning a business. I think there is beauty and also bravery to recognize in any business owner or anyone at all who can be vulnerable to admit that they are struggling, but also be proactive by leaning and seeking help. So witnessing this win for me, it's always going to be a win for me because I believe that it shows dedication, passion, and also perseverance of a person who wishes to make ends meet, but also moving towards growth. So in my opinion, having this kind of ideology lived out is essential for any entrepreneur or aspiring startup makers because I believe, of course, not invalidating other factors that impact the business, such as market status, trends, and stuff like that. But having that kind of mindset, it helps because I think the majority of the success of one's business is a direct consequence of their attitude and performance. And as an inspiring entrepreneur myself, it is such a good reminder to see this on a daily basis because social media won't show you this nitty gritty aspect of being a business owner or building a business. So being in TGC allows me to kind of get a clearer perspective of what it takes to start your own career, start your own company, and I guess it sets the parameter of what to expect once I started doing it on my own. So, I think that's a good win, not only career wise, but also personal mindset wise. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's Justine. Like you never cease to amaze me with the wisdom that comes out of your young self. So, there's such beautiful shares. Yeah, round of applause for Justine's wins. Amazing. And I think you just touched on something, right? Like a lot of business owners get freaked out when they've got employees who talk about becoming entrepreneurs themselves and essentially getting to the point where they'd leave the nest. Like, do I want to keep the team around forever? Yeah, because they're amazing. But I also want to empower them to do whatever they feel is important to them. So you'll always have my love and support, and the whole team's love and support. I've got no doubt, Justine, for whatever you choose to do, whether it's stay forever or go off into the world and do your own thing. We think you're amazing, and thank you so much for being part of our team as well.
Thank you, guys. Well, you can't see me right now, but I'm frailing my arms.
Amazing. I'm going to jump to the crazy ex-girlfriend, the crazy girlfriend stalker, self-proclaimed Aileen. She has had to chase me many times for things, and she's got this mode, crazy ex-girlfriend mode, that she often brings out. And I thought, do I just not have her on the podcast and see if she brings crazy ex-girlfriend? But no, I think we've got normal Aileen today, not crazy girlfriend mode. Aileen, welcome. Thank you so much for being here today and being part of the podcast. I know you've been around for a while now, so you would have seen a bit in your time, even through the rainbow glasses that you look at the world through right now.
Hey guys, how are you? Thank you, Adam, for inviting the whole team to the podcast. It's a nice change to be in front of the camera instead of, in the background. So, and yes, I've been here for at least 3/4 of the 100 episode. So yeah, it's nice to see the transition from that to this 100 episode.
Yeah, nice. And over that time, you've seen, like you said, you've seen many, many episodes. Being in the marketing arm of the business, you certainly have a lot of it come across your desk or across your screen, so to speak. Like, how do you feel it's progressed over time? What would you say the biggest changes are, apart from the faces? Obviously, we've gone from having 1 or 2 to 9 now, so the podcast is huge today. Anyway.
Yeah.
But what's the biggest wins that you've seen in your time here?
Yeah, well, there's actually a lot. And I think the biggest one would be the accumulated aha moments of self-realization whenever I have to check the raw recording and check the released episode, to be released episode of, our podcast. And you get to understand that it's whatever action you do in your end, in our end as a team, ripples to the business of our clients, to the people listening to the podcast. And I think being part of their journey, and especially their wins and achievements, are, one of my biggest, achievements here in, being the communications coordinator here in TGC. So from the moment I started, I believe it was episode 26, when I joined the company. I've been working with different marketing managers since then, different faces. And one thing that has never changed, rather, is, the lessons, the amazing lessons that comes from these episodes. And every single one of them is unique from the previous one. Yeah. It may be big difference or a small difference, but I myself, whenever I see recording, I have to check recording. Even when Miranda have to ask me to, Aileen, check this specific episode, I get to have my aha moments like, oh, I didn't know I was I am burned out. So things like that. So you get to understand yourself as well together with your clients. So, it's really an opportunity, rather a responsibility and a great achievement to be part of the TGC team.
Yeah. Are you still burnt out, Aileen?
I don't think so.
We might need to have another conversation.
No, Adam, I no longer am. I believe so because
I would hate for us to be one of those companies where we just churn and burn through our employees because they're all burnt out. But I love the color of the glasses that you've picked today. For those of you just listening and can't see, Eileen's got these rainbow glasses on. They are virtual, but I think it represents how she looks at the world through beautiful colors. So amazing to have you as part of the team. Amazing wins, and thank you for your efforts with the podcast. You probably second to Miranda for the amount of time and effort that's gone into that. So yeah, big round of applause for Aileen.
Thank you, Adam.
I'm going to jump to another cornerstone. It's interesting. My screen's got like the 3 cornerstones, Miranda, Lou, Bryan. I'm just stuck in the middle somewhere, but another pillar of our community, and particularly with our clients, is Bryan Santos. Come on down, my little friend. Great to have you as part of the team. You've been here for a while now as well. Done some podcasts, and big influence on the team as well. So and the clients in particular. But there's probably you're probably the second most knowledgeable around client wins and that sort of thing. So welcome to the podcast again, mate. Glad to have you here. Glad to have you as part of the team. Thank you for your efforts. Talk to me. What's the biggest thing for you, mate, about this podcast and the game changers?
Yeah, thank you. Well, first of all, it's a pleasure, like celebrating this all with you and for celebrating it with the audience and those who are listening, both clients and non-clients, because it really is a celebration and an acknowledgement of achievement. And the game changes in itself is a big achievement, and this podcast itself, getting to the 100th episode, is a big achievement in my eyes. So congratulations, and thanks for having me on this particular podcast as well. So the way I see it from our point of view, like my job is to help, right, and to get clients' results. My wins are directly related to our clients' wins, and without that, we're not doing our job, right? We're not doing our job, and we're not, we have no business in our being business coaches or being a business coaching organization. So our wins are directly related to our clients' wins. I mean, like Miranda said at the beginning of the call, was that every week and every session that we do what we call wins and lessons. And the reason we do wins and lessons isn't just because we want to be a pain in the backside and kind of do that, but it's really we're trying to build a psychological habit, if you will, of acknowledging and taking the time to recognize and observe what's just happened. And this episode today is no different. And when I think about all the wins that we have, or our clients have, there's lots. Every week, like I said, there is. We have a maintenance company in Perth who came to us, and he talk about overwhelmed. He was one of the most overwhelmed business owners that I've come across in a while, and that says something. And he was overwhelmed and stressed. He knew he needed help. He didn't know where to start. Long story short, within the first couple of weeks, he implemented some strategies that we go through in terms of time management. And he got back an extra 20 hours a week. Like, this is within a couple of weeks. And for someone doing 80 plus 90 hours in some cases a week, that was a lot of stress relief for him. And I know when he came to us, there was issues. I guess there was issues with his, personal relationship with his partner, and a lot of it came as a result of the stress and the time that was, his business. And so that helped him a lot. And after 2 weeks, and actually him thanking us in that way, it's why we do what we do. We had a builder client. There was a couple. They're based in Port Stephens. I mean, they were on our program for 12 months. And when they finished up and we asked them what their biggest win was, it was the fact that they could get on top of their cash flow. It was the consistency of cash flow that was their issue, and building cash reserves. And so that to them was their biggest win. And again, when they talked about it, as a husband and wife relationship, and how that itself helps, I guess, prevent any kind of further deterioration of their relationship, create a better communication. So, there's a few wins. I can think of a ton. We have a landscaping, or I should say a gardening maintenance business, who's been with us for a while. We worked with him on his vision and mission and values. And, just recently he's changed his business model, or his ideal client, to being from landscaping to being more maintenance, because it's really where he's passionate about, and realized, amongst other things like the wet weather happening, all that sort of stuff, he decided to revisit his vision and his direction of the business. But it wasn't just revisiting it. We put a proper plan in place, or we helped him to make proper decisions, financial decisions, and then transition him out. And, he's grown a successful team, a team who have similar values. And he's a happy camper at the moment. And I guess we're just building a community of people who are making a difference, really. And so, I mean, there's a lot we can talk about. If we had the next 2 hours, I could keep going, but we don't. Yeah, I guess, like I said at the beginning, I think a lot of it is about stopping and reflecting, taking the time to sort of zoom out and see what's really going on, because sometimes being in our head too much, too often can be can be the cause of the stress, can be the cause of the chaos. And so, hopefully for those of you who are listening can take time to acknowledge and just look back around what's actually been achieved by you, your business, and in your relationships.
Yeah, no, they're really beautiful shares, Bryan. Having you as part of the team, I know was a when you joined, was a massive win for Miranda, because for a long time there she was probably experiencing some burnout and was really carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders, doing so much. So I know that you coming on board was a massive win for Miranda individually, but for the whole team as well, because you've got such a beautiful smile and amazing personality. We'd love having you as part of the team. So that is definitely amazing. So round of applause for Bryan as well. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Now, I think I've got one left. I haven't deliberately left her to last, but some say you saved the best for last. She's definitely she's changed avatars while we've been on this call. I liked how she started with the gangster glasses, because she is one of our OGs, our original gangsters. But she is a fiery fox. She's probably the person that, if you've ever opted into our stuff, you've heard from first, and that is the amazing Trisha. So come on down, Trisha. Welcome here. Thank you for being the amazing person that you are. You've held many positions within TGC. How long have you been a part of the company now?
I've been with TGC for 4 years.
4 years. So proper OG. You've been here longer than all of us, I believe.
Yes. Probably I'm very happy being part of this 100 podcast, actually, and also being here for 4 years, and of course, still looking forward to be on the more years to come here, staying here in the company.
You're here for the next 400, Trisha. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, probably when I reach 80 years old, then that's the time that I could stop working here.
No, Trisha, you have to, what's the quintessential thing all the tradies do? They have to hustle. You have to hustle forever. You can never stop working. There's no way to do it. No, you will. I'm sure you'll get to retire well before then, but we will keep you for as long as you want to stay, because you are amazing. And I know you get to speak to the clients a fair bit. So, I mean, what do you, I mean, I'm going to pick your brains over the 4 years, not just the podcast, because you were here before the podcast even started. I mean, you would have seen a lot of changes, a lot of things happening. What do you feel is the biggest thing for you that you've seen in TGC, you know, personally, professionally, whatever? Over to you.
Probably for me, the biggest win is there's always no dull moments when you're working in TGC. Mm-hmm. So there's always a lot of things to discover and always a lot of things to learn, not only for myself, but also as well as with the clients. So looking back with the clients coming in, it's always happy to know that we were able to help them out when it comes to their struggle, when it comes to their business. The best win for me probably, it's not really a huge one, but when a client would tell you that, oh, I get to spend 1 hour with my lunch now. Because before I have to rush things. I have to put everything aside and focus on my business. So the best thing is spending more time with their family, spending more time eating their lunch, taking their time eating their lunch, and seeing them grow in our community. That's the best thing for me when it comes to when I saw the clients sharing. And not only that, Adam, I also learned from the clients itself, their wins. because I also apply those wins for myself, that every day is a learning process for me, that I get to have to motivate myself to work hard and strive harder when it comes to my role or when it comes to working with our team. And it keeps me inspired every day to do better when it comes to my role. Yeah. As I said, there's always no dull moments here.
No, it's always all hands on deck. Everything's happening all at once here. So they're beautiful shares and come with a lot of weight too, because you would have seen some amazing wins over your time. So such a beautiful thing to hear, from everybody. Like the team has really surprised me today. A lot of personal wins on the back of their experience with the clients and with the business itself. So it tells me that we're really forging ahead in the right direction. When everybody's getting wins. And as it was pointed out throughout the process of this podcast, some of the wins are huge, life-changing. Bryan talked about relationships that are, really impacted in a positive way. Lou talked about some really tiny stuff, and pausing every day for gratitude. Miranda's talked about the wins throughout, getting to the 100th episode and all the stuff that she's experienced with the client wins over time. Such an epic win that. But I think what's really important here is that wins can be big, wins can be small, but we've really got to stop and acknowledge each and every win, because they stack up incrementally and they do provide us those big wins. When a family is, works on their relationship and they get to the point where they're like, actually, we are really happy now. That's the result. That's a big win, but that's a result of doing lots of little things, having little conversations and, hard chats and things that we really struggle with sometimes. So I am proud of each and every one of you. My win is being part of such an amazing team of people, being able to get here and celebrate this 100th episode, even though we had to reschedule the recording because things get in the way. But I just want to publicly acknowledge you all for the amazing people that you are, the amazing humans, the wins personally and professionally, and the impact that you've had on the lives of everybody in the business and outside of the business. So happy birthday, Tradie Business School Podcast. You raise a bat, raise a glass. That's 100. Point to the skies, celebrate someone, pat yourselves on the back. If you are listening to this or watching this, please get in contact with us. Share us a win. Inquiries at tradiebusinessschool.com would be the place to send it. We would love to have a chat with you. If you want to, build a culture within your team, within your community, where you get to celebrate your wins, this is a great place to start. So congratulations to each and every one of you that have listened. Thank you once again to our listeners out there for making this episode possible. If you've made it all the way to the end, because our podcast episodes aren't normally this long, then please drop us a line. We would love to hear from you. I think that's it from me. Does anybody else have anything that they want to add? I just want to throw the floor open and, party on otherwise. I feel like we need some music. Kim, can we have some music to outro with? It's okay. I should have organized it beforehand, but
we can sort that out.
Once again, thanks, team. Have an amazing day. If you're listening, have an amazing day, and don't forget to pause and celebrate your wins. Share some gratitude with somebody you care about and love. Otherwise, over and out. Take care. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.